Good evening, and welcome to the Finnish Game Incubator Demo Day livestream. My name is Joni Lappalainen, the showrunner of the Finnish Game Incubator. I'm also the CEO of Dreamloop Games and the chairperson of the Finnish Game Developers Association. Today, we are showcasing the 7th batch of teams to go through the incubator. The Finnish Game Incubator is organized by Tampere Game Hub and Alman Vocational School. The incubator's origins go back to before the pandemic with one clear goal. That goal was to help more prepared indie studios emerge from Finland. This batch features 6 teams. They are developing games across both PC and mobile platforms. With consoles in mind for the future, the range of projects is broad. You will see games that span from ghost hunting and guard battlers to roguelites and systems with daily changing levels. Over the course of the program, these teams have received mentoring from a wide range of industry experts. This includes studio founders, publishers, investors, business analysts, game marketers, business developers, lawyers, you name it. We have also partnered with Rank 1 Global for the first time with the incubator program. Through this partnership, the teams will gain a new channel to connect with players and content creators alike. Next, you will see each team present their games. This means they will show their trailers and deliver their pitches. After each presentation, you will have the opportunity to sign up for playtesting on Steam for those games. This is your chance to get early access to these new Finnish indie titles. And if you want to learn more about the Finnish Game Incubator, maybe you have a team or idea that you might want to participate in the future, you can find more information from tampere.games. But without further ado, let's begin.
One warm summer night of July, in the strange town of Ruta, everyone was sound asleep. Everyone but Momo, a bold little girl who was about to get in big trouble.
Ghost Hunting Lesson 1. Did you know that all ghosts have different traits? They all react to different things. For instance, well, this one's a party pooper for sure. If it's talkative, it'll react to different questions asked through my spirit talkie.
Why are you haunting this park?
Yeah, we came from the bottom, now we see the nothing now. Street lights flicker wild, we hustle in the rain.
Do you like nuggies?
Okay, I get it.
Hi, I'm Ned from Kipinami Studio, and we're going to introduce to you Little Big Ghost Hunter. A quick introduction. With my partner Karin, we founded Kipinami Studio last summer after working on several projects together to create success. We're now developing our first indie game, Little Big Ghost Hunter. Little Big Ghost Hunter is what we call a cozy horror game for PC that we're going to launch on Steam. It's essentially a Phasmophobia-like, but solo, quickie, with a light narrative. It's played in first-person view with a PSX aesthetic. It will be completable within 3 to 4 hours, so we're making it quite short, and you're catching us early right now as we're quite early in development. In this game, you're playing as the best ghost hunter in town. But the thing is, you're only a 12-year-old kid. And this makes for our first unique selling point, Momo, the star of our game. She's cute, funny, relatable, and make for an impactful horror character. You slowly get attached to her and don't want anything bad to happen to her, right? As a kid, her ghost hunting methods are quite unconventional. Momo uses a variety of silly, very crafty DIY tools to carry out tests in order to find ghost evidence. For example, a flute to piss them off, a modified Game Boy console to verify the stinkiness level of an area, etc. And once you find out the ghost type, you don't just send a report and go home. You gotta go into their mind and capture them with your camera. And this is where the psychological horror is truly highlighted. You get clues about ghosts past and how they ended up haunting up the place. As a cozy horror game, this is important for us to put players on an emotional roller coaster, and we're doing that in the span of a week in-game. Each day, you start in Momo's treehouse, which acts as a 3D menu in which you can chill between ghost hunts, pet your dog, check your photo album, and most importantly, chat with friends and clients on the computer who will send you ghost hunt requests, which must be accepted before going on missions. The ghost hunt starts in the park in the evening. The sun is setting, the ghost isn't out yet, giving you a few minutes to prepare for the hunt. Here you can place your traps, you can look for different types of foods and items that will help you in your mission, find collectibles to get ghost lore, but most of all, you're a freaking kid, so just go out and have fun in the park. Without transition, night falls and the hunt is on. The ghost is now actively hunting the place and will react to your tools and traps. But it's also going to chase you at times, so like in the bottom left GIF, be ready to run and hide in the park. Your mission is now to piece out the ghost and gather evidence to determine its type, among a big list of potential suspects. And if you're correct, Momo gets dragged into the ghost spirit in what we call a showdown. New environment, new rules, this is as weird and horrific as we get in the game. You capture the ghost by taking a picture of its face with your camera. But obviously it's not going to be that easy, as each of them will find tricks to make your life harder. So this phase plays like a boss battle in which there is always a gimmick to figure out. Once you're done, the night is over, and we proceed to the next day back at the treehouse. So why this game? Well, there's been a surge in the cozy spooky niche in the recent years, with big titles such as Cult of the Lamb or Dredge. They are partly relaxing, but also quite spooky, and we believe that our cute aesthetic and characters should help with encouraging a larger rate of people in trying Little Big Ghost Hunter, beyond horror fans. Market-wise, there is still a big demand for horror games. It's a solid staple that doesn't go out of style. We're embracing the heritage of Phasmophobia, which is now an icon in the genre. We're taking its core gameplay loop and are also embracing its quirks as well. Almost like a parody, but full of heart with our own twist to the formula. As we're aiming to price our game at $8.99, we estimate lifetime sales of the game to be in average around 100k units, generating 650k euros of gross revenue, with the potential of getting close to 200k units if we get a strong creator coverage thanks to a publisher. As we'll be entering full production this summer, we're now starting to show our game on social media, with over 120k views combined on all platforms, with only a few teasers so far. Little Big Ghost Hunter is completely self-funded, and this is why we're essentially looking for a partner for marketing, which is one of our biggest priorities for the rest of 2026. Extra help on localization and porting would be beneficial as well down the line. And this is all for us. Thank you for listening.
Hi everybody, my name's Lewis. It's been a lot of fun being part of Finnish Game Incubator. Got to bounce ideas off of the other people in the cohort regarding our games, and I'm here to show our game, Against All Skies. So, where did this come from? So, we found that a lot of roguelikes, given the nature of the game, is very dungeon crawler-y, dark, gloomy, and we decided that wasn't for us. We thought we'd bring in a breath of fresh air, a nice sky fantasy feeling. We also know there's a huge demand for party-based RPGs, party-based games. We all love them in our team, but we're not crazy enough to go ahead with a big developer budget to spend hours on that, years on that. So what do? We taken what we love about party-based RPGs, put it into a replayable format of a roguelike deck builder, and Against All Skies was born. In our world, you're uncovering a deep secret that defines the whole world in our sky fantasy. And you get to take part in your Helmholtz, which is our airship, to take your characters, your 5 characters, through a challenging experience, a roguelike deck building experience with some layered storytelling. Now, if you're familiar with roguelike deck builders, this should come quite naturally. It's a card game. Each character has their own deck of cards. But what's special about our game is the fact that you have your 3 characters at the same time, and you can fuse turn orders together. And when you fuse turn orders together, that allows you to do way more different combos based on your cards that you picked for each character. We've been updating on Steam Playtest already for quite some time, since about October. We're updating every 3 weeks as we develop the game. So with these 5 characters, there's also a character in mind for DLC that is top secret. We have, of course, different cards, different items that you get for each character, and a procedural node map, Sky Island node map. We have a storm that swells the node map every time, so it's a new experience each time. And with this in mind, we're looking at a core player experience for about 12 hours to experience everything the game has to offer in all of its 3 acts, and looking at a premium price range of $21.99, which is pretty sort of standard for roguelike deck builder prices, a bit high for us as an indie game, but we are quite proud of our work and our aesthetic style, that we feel this is a satisfactory angle. And the 12 hours being the core experience, well, it is a roguelike. So we have a high playtime ceiling, and through like difficulty modifiers and other things that you can do. For example, if you pick a different character combination, you'll find different dynamics between the characters, and that'll encourage you to play the game and experience it in many different ways. Now, as mentioned about the interest in party-based RPGs and roguelikes, the other reason we really want to make this game is because ChronoArk, listed at the top here, it's the only game on Steam that's tagged as difficult, roguelike deck builder, and party-based RPG. So this is where our niche comes in. And for our type of game, we're looking and hoping to go for 80,000 copies in our opening year, which is ambitious, but this is the path that we would like to take. And our game is also designed with mobile in mind. So it's not just for PC, first and foremost. Roguelike Deck Builder whole community is PC first and foremost. That's why we're doing it. But we're also going to bring the game to mobile, plus Switch, and so on. We are aiming for early access with this game, primarily because this is the type of game that you can co-develop with the community. So, for example, if people have interests in certain characters and cards and what they would like to see, it's a great way to explore it as we scale up the game. This is the sort of other games in the genre that we're competing with. As you can see, we're aiming to stand out with the party-based RPG vibes. And in order to make this, we're looking at a 25k burn rate for 12 months, so about 300k. And as this is a game that the visual style quite stands out, we are aiming to focus on an East Asian market as well, because that's where the roots of party-based RPGs is. We made our MVP at the end of last year, and we took it to Pocket Gamer, and now we're working towards our vertical slice, and we should have a public demo available on Steam after the summer. We are aiming then for full release by Q3 next year. We have a great team for making it happen, and we've been working on this together since about May, and we're looking forward for the rest to come. This is some fan art we've already had. So a shout out to Dorian. And that's Against All Skies, so thank you very much.
Antti Moilanen from Moi Moi Games, and this is Dark Ship Echoes. The concept of the game in one sentence is Roomba meets Hotline Miami in space with Blade Runner aesthetics. And what does that exactly mean? The game has the top-down combat combined with the tension you get in the dark hallways, not knowing what's coming at you behind the next corner. And then the lighting is used to set the atmosphere of the game. You can see some of the inspirations for the game in this mood board. Dark Ship Echoes is a tense, atmospheric sci-fi top-down shooter. Release platform is Steam for both Windows and Mac OS. Playtime from 3 to 4 hours and price point about €9. The game is currently in pre-production and we are aiming to have the demo in Steam Next Fest in October and releasing the game in December. In the game, you are a stranded space explorer and you need to pilot your drone into a seemingly abandoned space station, fight its defenses, and scavenge enough supplies to repair your spaceship and return home safely. The target audience of the game are players who gravitate towards sci-fi experiences with a distinctive nostalgia-driven style, and games where tense combat, story, and discovery are in focus. Let's take a look at the game mechanics. First, there is the exploration, and there the main tool is the radar that pings the enemies and other point of interests and shows them in the radar minimap. Then there is the proximity sensor with the sound, warning you when the enemies are getting too close. And lastly, there's the drone's light system. For the combat, you have an energy weapon to deal damage and EMP pulse that can stun the enemies. There will be various hacking minigames to hack doors open and get the enemies to fight on your side. You can also collect supplies and upgrade your droid. We have been playtesting the game in events like Pocket Gamer Connects, IGDA, Demo Corner, and it has got good feedback, especially about the atmosphere and the sound design. And overall, the feedback is indicating that the game is on a right track. Let's have a look at the market opportunity. Closest comparable game is Empty Shell with its top-down combat and retro looks. Empty Shell has sold about 40,000 copies and has an estimated gross revenue of $350,000. Then there is Duskers that has a little bit different gameplay, but it's a game that people often mention when they play the Dark Ship Echoes. It has sold about 100,000 copies and has a gross revenue between $1 and $2 million. I started working on the game concept in April last year and had a prototype ready for local playtesting in October. The next step is to start playtest in Steam as soon as possible and have the demo in Steam Next Fest in October and then launch the game in December. The publisher ask is €60,000 and this would allow me to finish the game development and also have some budget to get help to the story and art. Then a little bit about me. I have 17 years of experience as a software engineer with focus on UIs, and besides solving technical problems, I also love creative work, including music production and visual design. And games allow me to combine all of this together. Thank you for listening.
Wishes from people like you. You think you can just walk in, pick a wish, and go back like nothing happened? Or did you come to see what's left of those who did not dare to live with the choices they made? You will get lost like everyone else before and after you.
Hi there, it's a pleasure to pitch to you Mortal. As a player, you journey to the tower to undo a foul wish. The tower is a higher being, a divine god known as the Ascended, and it does not want to be bothered. Early, most of us fell in love with the genre of offline narrative single-player games, and now we're bringing a fantasy movement shooter to mid-core PC gamers who like fast-paced gameplay. We have a story to tell that centers around what can happen if you stop embracing transience, uncertainty, and your environment, and visually we are quite stylized with a strong color palette and surrounding the player with divine Gothic architecture. Our team started development in 2022. That was after we won the second place in the Finnish Game Competition Bit 1 with our prequel Mamortal Fahesius Pride, and right now we are pre-alpha. The narrative concept is centered around the antagonist, the divine tower that is floating above the clouds, and it is an environment but also a god or an entity, so it does speak to you like in the trailer. And as a god, it grants wishes that were sent up by the people. And these are floating through the hallways in star shapes. And if you pick them up and open them, they reveal interconnected stories and forgotten secrets. As a player, you're on a quest to retrieve a wish. So you enter the forbidden halls of the tower, and the tower doesn't like it. And it petrifies you and is sending gargoyles. On the game design side, we base our design goals on extensive user research and establish to aim for a fast-paced game flow, mechanics that are tied to the narrative, and breaks and pauses from the pressure, where you can peacefully explore the environment. We consider the relatable narrative theme of uncertainty as a USP, as well as having a story and mechanics tightly connected. This includes petrification mechanic, the diegetic UI, and high-key visual aesthetics. We see ourselves on the market matrix relatively central between mechanical skill and narrative or atmospheric focus. And Mamortal is intentionally more light and colorful and not that dark and grim to appeal to mid-core players. Our mechanics are mostly centered around platforming and combat. If you look closely, you can see at the arms and hands that they are turning into stone, or petrifying, that's the petrification mechanic, like a diegetic health bar that creates urgency as well. So what you're fighting against are gargoyles, which were once human and failed and petrified, and when you kill them, they leave a water globule which heals you. In a nutshell, killing gargoyles gives you then more time to get through the level, and depending if you're more human, like less petrified, or more gargoyle, more petrified, you get additional mechanics enhancements for platforming and combat, which really changes how you play the game depending on your state. We are an international team of games and media industry professionals, and most of us have released games, but not as this team. We are all working in our spare time, but we manage to work and meet weekly for about 4 years now. And when it comes to production, we aim to make our technical system very scalable. So, for example, we have developed a procedural interior generation tool that helps speed up the level building time. We are currently in the demo phase, but the final product should have multiple levels, multiple enemy types, boss battles, and the full narrative. If we would go into full production right now, we would aim for an alpha in 12 months, a beta in 18 months, a release candidate in 21 months, and launch in 24 months. Furthermore, we are running playtests with every major build and now planning to set up a Steam Start page. And that's it. Thank you very much. There is contact details and comments from our playtesters, and hope to see you soon.
Hi, I'm Ville from Mailix Games, and today I want to introduce you to Samago, a mobile game where a new shared level is generated every day for all players around the world. The best players today will claim rewards at the end of the day. So, the question remains, who can be the mightiest frog today? Samago is a 2D pixel art side-scrolling platformer with an endless level. Controls are quite simple and accessible. You just drag and release with your finger to make the frog charge and then jump. We wanted to bring something unique to this classic mobile genre, so we made the level generate again every 24 hours and added the asynchronous multiplayer, where you can see the other players' last attempts and examine their strategy. They can also affect your own gameplay by snatching coins from your level. Here I have some gameplay. Our gameplay consists of two parts, which are the metagame, a peaceful, cozy area where you can build your own frog pond by clearing obstacles and decorating, and it also works as the main menu of the game. And then we have the core gameplay, which has the daily changing endless map where you can compete with other players and see their ghost frogs. Here you can also collect coins you can use in the metagame. Samago has been in production for around 1.5 years now. We soft launched the game already in the spring of 2025 and have been iterating the game ever since. We have closely followed the analytic data and bettered our retention and playtime update by update. In the beginning of this year, we released Samago 2.0 and it has seen some promising results. We want to keep developing and updating the game and take it into the next level. This is where we are looking for your financial and marketing support. I want to mention that we also tested to make our first live event in Halloween 2025 and it turned out pretty fun. We learned we can arrange these kind of events pretty easily. Our monetization is very heavy on the player standing out. We take every opportunity to highlight the player. This includes top players shown in the top of the leaderboards. Every day there is a reward ceremony that shows the top players from yesterday, and so on. We have also implemented rewarded ads discreetly, for example if the player wants to revive once per turn by watching an ad. On the release of Samago 2.0 in the beginning of this year, we started posting short-form content on social media with some promising results. We have gotten almost 500,000 views on YouTube and TikTok combined. This is mostly Finnish/European audience, but we are trying to get into the US market soon. We follow the analytics data very consistently. With the last release, we have gotten some pretty solid retention numbers and a lot of new players. We have seen some in-app purchase inflows as well as some ad revenue too. Our install base is currently sitting around 3k players and the average review is 4.7 stars with 205 reviews. And this is what we are looking from you. To continue developing Samago full-time, we want to finance our studio as well as our personal lives. For example, for $300,000 budget, we can develop Samago for 1 year. This includes a team salary with employer costs, some legal expenses, third-party services like commissioning stuff, server costs around 10k for 50k monthly active users for 12 months. And then a large chunk goes towards marketing, which includes test marketing and also a user acquisition buffer. And then we have a extra 5% buffer just in case. And lastly, this is Melix Games. We were founded in 2024 by me and Miika Hannula, and Aaro joined us last year. Before Samago, we already released one game in Google Play and the App Store called Soulbound. This was a large-scale project, a game where you played outside with your phone while trying to clear the real-world map from Fog of War. We released it, but decided to move on to the next project since we saw that it would be too hard to make a business out of it. We are a group of longtime friends with a passion in video game development since we were little kids. Even before this company, we've been making games together in game jams and hobby projects, and together we host the Demo Corner at the IGDA Helsinki monthly meetup. We attend game industry events and try to stay active and connected. Yeah, that's about it. I think our game has a lot of potential, but we just need a little push to make Samago into a profitable business. Thanks for listening.
Hello, my name is Alex and we're the Double Interactive and I'm here to present our game, My Tennis Apocalypse. So tennis games have great potential because of their very simple premise. But nowadays most of the tennis titles are either very short and simple games or simulator titles that are hard to approach by the larger audience. We aim to bring the tennis genre to the wider audience by aiming just at the middle. Still keeping the game simple, but adding spectacle into the mix. And that we aim to do by combining tennis with explosions. My Tennis Apocalypse is an action tennis roguelite game where instead of a traditional ball, you play with an explosive one. So there are no points, and the last one standing will win the match. Intuitive controls are essential for making a good tennis game, and we aim to make them as intuitive as possible so that anyone can just hop right in and start playing the game right away. But the thing that actually brings depth, variety and replay value to the game are the randomized power-ups that you get each round. By combining all sorts of different power-ups, active and passive alike, you can put pressure on your opponent in ways that have not quite been seen in tennis games before. Essentially, the core game loop goes as follows. You play these deadly tennis matches, and then you gain rewards by winning them, and then you go into the overworld area where you can explore, talk to NPCs, visit shops, and things like that, and then you go into the procedurally generated ladder to select your next opponent. What actually makes our game stand out from the current PC market is that our game is a familiar game packaged in a new form. It makes it easier for new players to enter, and we emphasize on making a best single player mode that we possibly can, so that kind of differentiates ourselves from the main sports titles. And because of that, we have very few direct competitors, and compared to those that we have, our price point is reasonably modest. As we are aiming for the PC market, we are looking for players who enjoy games like Risk of Rain, Hades, Binding of Isaac, but also might dabble in some sports titles like Lethal League or Windjammers. Now, let's talk a bit about the team. We are a two-person team currently developing this game. We have been working together for the past 2 years on various smaller titles, and we kind of figure out that now is the time to actually make something a bit bigger. Firstly, we have Olivia, who is the main artist of the project and also the project manager, and then there is me, Alex, and I'm in charge of programming, but also animations and sounds. Currently, our project is in a state where we have most of the base systems completed, and we will begin adding content to the game very soon. We are planning on launching the game in Q1 to Q2 of 2027, but before that we are going to participate in the Steam Next Fest. And depending on the feedback that we get from our audience, we might be able to participate in early access or just demo cycling. To cover a 12-month period of development, we would require 80,000 euros, which would mainly be allocated into the salaries of us two developers. We have a very small expensive thanks to the small team size, but also we use mostly open source tooling to keep everything in check. We would use the additional funds to hire freelance audio and then buying some workspace for the team to work in. Thank you very much. If you have any more questions, we would love to answer them. And yeah, thank you.